On February 9th, 2004, in the early hours of the day, 16-year-old John Romano walked into Columbia High School with a 12-gauge shotgun and made a beeline for the restrooms. Upon making it to the restroom, Romano then spent 45 minutes debating his decision before he sent a warning text to his friends to tell them that he had a shotgun and they needed to leave. Once that text was sent, he then walked out of the bathroom and opened fire into the hallway. And once the assistant principal was made aware of the situation, he quickly tried to subdue the 6'2", 230-pound student when a shot went off, injuring a nearby special education teacher. And although Michael Bennett, the special education teacher, was the only one injured that day, before the shooter was then tackled and arrested, and there were no casualties, there are hundreds of victims that suffered from the horror and must relive it every day. The thought that there is an armed person in a school building alone is terrifying. And these students had no way of knowing what this shooter's plan was, what was in his head, what was going through his mind, when they were going to come back, if they were going to make it out alive, if they were ever going to go to school again. And many of them didn't. Upon his release from his 16 to 17-year prison sentence, John Romano then decided to become an activist in the community, advocating for safer gun laws and mental health in the United States. And although this is a great step towards change in theory, it's not true. On the outside, John Romano tells a story of how hurt he was as a child and how he wanted others to feel his pain. So he walked into his high school with a loaded 12-gauge shotgun and started firing into a hallway of innocent teachers and students. He was so close to hitting a student with a bullet that the student's baseball cap flew. Now, John claims that he never went into that school with the intention of harming anyone, and he just wanted others to feel his pain. So playing devil's advocate for a second, if there was no intention of harming anyone, why text your friends and tell them to leave? Why even load the gun in the first place? There may have been no casualties in this shooting, but there are hundreds of victims because of this man's careless actions. There have been no casualties in this shooting, but there were 17 in the Parkland High shooting, 19 in the Robb Elementary School shooting, and 13 in the Columbine massacre.